Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 17 of 30 days of meditation. Hope you all are feeling joyful and having a nice start to your day. I'd like to start today with talking a little bit about the experience of sitting feelingly when you meditate. So oftentimes when I sit with my guru, Gurunath, he invites us to sit feelingly, to be like a child of 5. So where my mind goes with that, when you're a child of 5, you're in kindergarten. So it's not a lot about learning the intellectual stuff. It's about being playful, open, receptive. When I was in kindergarten, maybe I learned some alphabet, some numbers, but a lot of it was just playing and hanging out with my friends, playing in the sandbox, and just being sitting down for story time. It was a lot of interacting in a feeling based way. So when we think about our meditation practice and sitting with the lotus flower, it's really about connecting with the feeling of that experience of feeling the lotus. And if you're not you can probably tell I'm kind of a metaphor guy. So I like the experience of connecting with imagery, and that really helps me connect to the feeling of things. But if that's more difficult for you, if you can't really connect with the feeling of a lotus flower for whatever reason, you can definitely connect to the feeling of your breath and the feeling of your body, and especially your heart area opening as you breathe in and closing as you breathe out. So there's the actual physical sensation feeling. There's also the emotional feeling as you connect with that gentle movement of your breath. You might start to feel relaxed and calm and at peace. And for me, when I think of a lotus, I feel very calm and peaceful. So connecting with the feeling of your practice is very important. One of the more memorable experiences that I've had when I've taught a meditation class, I was teaching one time and got everything set up, did my Om to start class. And almost on cue, a truck drove into the parking lot outside the studio. And within minutes, the chainsaws were going, the wood chipper was going. They decided that was the day to chop down all the trees outside the yoga studio. So talk about sitting feelingly. So here we are in a meditation class trying to connect to peace and stillness. And outside you're hearing the sound of chainsaws chopping down trees. So it's such a contrast. And I think that's part of a yogic practice is, can you accept that two things can be true at once? That on the one hand, there's this chaos and noise of the trees being chopped down outside. And also inside, we're focusing on inner peace and connecting to the stillness and peace within. So we all have those experiences of things, like oftentimes when I sit down to meditation, that'll be the time my neighbor decides to start mowing the lawn. Um, in the morning when I meditate, my family's getting up and making coffee. So I smell coffee and I hear my kids rustling in the shower. So there's all these things, external things a lot of times, but even internal things that can not feel maybe pleasant. And part of a yogic practice is allowing for that to happen while also connecting to the stillness and peace that we're cultivating with our lotus practice. So one way I like to think about that is, if all these disruptions are things that might be poison, like they're not really meant for our health, let's say. So you can think of these experiences like little drops of poison. So if you just have a drop of poison just on its own, that can really harm you. But if you put that drop of poison in a big swimming pool full of water, then that poison doesn't have as much of an effect. So when we're working with these contrasting energies with our meditation practice, we're trying to build a swimming pool size um, energy of stillness and peace within. So when those little moments of disruption, anger, the noise of chainsaws or your neighbor mowing the lawn, when they drop into that pool of stillness and peace that we've generated, it'll just be a blip, right? And that takes some time often, but with practice, you're going to cultivate and grow that stillness and peace. So those little moments of disturbance will feel different within you. So that's one of the reasons we practice a meditative practice, to be able to hold those little disruptions of life and allow them to dissolve more quickly in the stillness and peace of our practice. So on that note, I invite you to sit on your mat for your meditation. Starting to connect to your body, noticing what your body's feeling like today. And again, the contrast. So our breaths, we're trying to cultivate a still and naturally flowing breath. And we're using that to connect to any parts of our body that might be feeling a little stiff or sore or uncomfortable in any way. So we're using that breath to try to bring a little peace and stillness within. So noticing any places you're holding tension, using the natural flow of your breath to connect to those tense points, breathing in. And as you're breathing out, let go and release that tension. Allowing your breath to flow towards any parts of you that need some attention this morning. Allowing it to surround it like a swimming pool size body of water, maybe an ocean-like body of water surrounding it. And as you breathe out, allowing it to relax and release. And one more time. And I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart as we open our practice with the sound of Om. Allowing your hands to rest in your lap. Connecting with your heart. Feel the space of your heart, specifically the heart chakra, which is in the center of your spine. Try to locate that place in your being, in your body. Feel that space within you. As we begin to visualize a golden lotus flower living in our heart chakra. And as we breathe in, the golden flower opens its petals. And as we breathe out, the golden petals close into a bud. Following the natural flow of your breath. As we flow into the stillness and peace of the lotus of our heart. As we breathe in, we mentally chant the sound Sa as we breathe in. And hum as we breathe out. Feel your breath. Hear the mantra. Feel the space in your heart that's opening and closing with every breath. Feel that you're creating an inner oasis of peace and stillness in your heart. As you breathe in with Sa, feel the stillness and peace expanding, filling you with stillness and peace. And as you breathe out, the lotus petals closing into a bud, surrounding you with stillness and peace, like a beautiful hug. And bringing your awareness into the center of your heart and the lotus of your heart. to experience the lotus opening around you with the sound of sa, and closing around you with the sound of hum. If any distractions come into your awareness, allow them to dissolve in the stillness and peace of your breath and the lotus flower opening and closing in your heart. Practicing bringing your awareness back to the oasis of your heart. Cultivating an ever-expanding experience of stillness and peace within. So we now move into the willful breath. So I invite you to match the movement of your breathing to the sound of me chanting the mantra. So we now breathe in with the sound of sa, sa, breathing in. Holding the breath. Feeling the stillness and peace pouring into your heart. Hum, breathing out. The lotus petals closing into a bud. Holding the breath. Sa, breathing in. Holding. Hum. Holding the breath outward. One more time. Sa, breathing in. Holding. Hum. Holding the breath outward. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Connect to the feeling of your practice, the feeling of your breath. Gentle opening and closing of the lotus in your heart. So we now take one more breath in, breathing in with sa. Grounding your breath with hum. Taking a moment to rest in the silence, the stillness and peace. we now close our practice, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart as we chant the sound of Om. Om. And then slowly and gently begin to open your eyes. Allowing yourself to slowly transition back into your day. Noticing any parts of you that might need to stretch, integrating that energy into your body. Just shake out your legs a little bit. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Look forward to continuing our practice tomorrow morning at 7:30. Look forward to connecting with everyone then. Have a blessed day. Be well.